They just post the same thing. I think the thing that happens with horse owners, we're all guilty of this. I haven't been so close to being kicked in the head in so long.
0 to 10,000 followers. I was posting.
Okay, so we have a really special guest today.
Hi.
I'm very excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I have been following you for a long time.
Oh boy.
And I actually, no, okay, we have to talk about the first time I met Nina.
Oh yeah, how did you guys meet? Because I met her just last week in real life and I was like, hi, I feel like I know you, but like not in real life. I'm
Right.
so sorry. Like I'm not creepy.
I know.
Yeah.
So I was shooting the equestrian. Do you remember the equestrian or the equestrian adult amateur when I'm like on the hobby horse and I'm like in the hunter ring at Wills Park and I'm like going around. Well, like we did this one shot at like the top where Cheryl has her like place where you can take photos and stuff. And I just, Josh is always so cautious of like having people in the background or anything. He always wants to make sure everyone has consent and permission, all the things. He was like, will you just ask those girls like if, they're okay to be in the background?
Yeah, we were just hacking up there.
Yeah. And you were like, I will never forget this. And you were just like, yeah, it's totally fine. And then you were like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, just like shooting this like little skit that we do on TikTok. And you were like, oh, that's so cool. And your dog was so cute.
Yeah.
And we talked for a second and then, and that honestly, I didn't even know, like, and then I found you on social media and I was like, okay, like this girl is like TikTok famous.
Yes.
Like, she's like, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. So, that's how the first time I met you.
Yeah.
It was so wild.
I saw the video a couple weeks later and then I was like, oh, okay.
You're like, now I get it.
This makes sense now.
I was a little worried about her mental state.
Yeah. You were like,
but you were just standing there with like a hobby horse. I was like, okay.
You're like, oh no, is that
like,
one of
this
those
bitch is
girls?
nuts.
Is she like a hobby horse person?
Oh
my God.
I'm sure that's what she thought.
I know. She probably like walked away. She was like, damn, this bitch is nuts. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, get your steps in.
yeah, you're like, now I definitely have to find this TikTok and figure out like where this girl is. So so obviously I am in the social media space, but as a profession, I own a media agency, yada, yada, yada. But so we do this for clients and other brands and businesses. And, I have mine as well, but I think that, you are definitely more on the influencer, personal brand, all of the things, and you've built a great following.
Yeah, it's actually really crazy to me because I started posting a year ago.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and before that, I never really had a personal Instagram, and even if I did, I had like a few hundred followers. It was never something that I was like a big social media person. Didn't have TikTok, and then I got back from Florida last year, and I had like a little bit of downtime till I got back like up and running in Georgia. And I was like, I guess I'll like just post a few things. And I posted one video of my horse like schooling, like little low jumps. It was like one of his first times off property. And it like did a few thousand views. And I was like, okay, well maybe I'll just like keep posting a few things. And then it started to like gain some traction. I hit 10,000. And then I was like, I've never even had more than 1,000 followers. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll keep posting.
I guess this is a thing.
I guess it's a thing now. So yeah, I just continued and here I am.
Yeah. So outside of social media, let's talk about what you do. Yeah. What your profession is, what you do for work, all of the things.
Yeah. So I feel like I have a lot of titles.
That's okay. That's good. That means you're good at a lot of things.
People ask me, what do you do? I'm like, I do a lot of things under the umbrella of horses. So I ride, I teach, I do a lot of young horses, which is probably my favorite part of it. I love doing the young horses. And then more recently, I became a certified equine massage therapist, which has been amazing. And I love incorporating that with social media and like teaching people about things. And then social media also. Right. Most recent. So. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that we have, just like a quick sidebar.
Oh God.
I bought a little like fascia thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
good.
the fascia release thing.
For yourself or for your horses?
For my horses.
Good.
I watched one video of this girl and she was like, did this, because my horse was learning changes and like they were talking about the hind end and both my horses at EPM and they were talking about like SI and whatever. So she got me hooked and I was like, all right, whatever she says, I'm going to buy it. And so I did, and I've been doing the same one movement massage that she did on the video, like 1,000 times.
He's probably like, pick a different area.
I'm like, it's great. Just leave it alone.
Yeah. And so one of our best friends is a vet too. And she was like, honestly, Kelly, like your hands to their body is great. Like even if you just want to, use that thing, like don't use it super hard, just rub it wherever, like you'll see where they like it, where they don't like it, whatever.
Tell you.
So I just started doing it. And I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm not really doing anything, but at least they're getting a good grooming, if nothing else. Yeah. So,
well, that's why I tell people always curry your horse. Like if you're not currying your horse, what are you doing? Because that breaks up the fascia.
Yeah.
Like it's the first step to warming your horse up.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Well, you should. Really
I think it's because I get dirt all over me. And I'm low key like, ugh.
Yeah. And I'm like the opposite. I'm like, bring it on, bring on all the dirt. Yeah. And Alexis is like, your face is literally like brown from dirt. Wow, that's interesting though.
Yeah.
That's really
makes
cool.
sense.
I have such a like a long pre-ride grooming routine, and people, because I'll post that also, and people are like, you do way more than I ever do.
Oh,
and I'm like,
this girl, she has to get there like an hour before her lesson because she does so much prep. Yeah. I'm like rolling in like 5 minutes before
I can't.
tack up in the ring, and I'm like, let's go.
No.
It's so bad. It's so bad, but I need to be better. I need to be better about like my tack up routine or tack.
At least curry.
Yes.
Just add that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits of massage and what got you interested in that.
Oh, yeah. So I get asked this question a lot, actually. Yeah. I looked up, I was like, okay, I have some time on my hands. This was, I don't know when, a couple years ago. I was like, what are some like stretches or little like massage techniques I can do for my horse to make him feel better? Because this was my older thoroughbred at the time.
This is the red horse.
Like, the chestnut,
Is his name Moon?
Yeah. He's the best. Yeah. I was like, what are some things that I can just do to help him feel better? Because he's amazing, but he has some wear and tear from the track.
Yeah.
Like most off the track thoroughbreds do.
We know about that.
Yeah. And so I was just like Googling it, and then all these like massage schools popped up. So I was like, well, how do you get certified? I was like, I never really thought of body work before, but I was like, I mean, it would be a really great thing to, because I was so interested in it. I was like, this would be really great to know how to do, but also
help other people.
Yeah, help other horses, add to my like, umbrella of what I do professionally.
Right.
Like, I felt like it was something. I was also thinking like more long term, like when I'm married, because I want to be married young soon.
Yeah. Are you dating?
Yeah.
hint, brother.
Yeah, like, so I was like, well, also, like, what if, he gets a job and we need to move somewhere, like my job with client and students, like, I can't really just take them with me, right?
Yeah.
I have to have something that's movable, which I was like, that's fairly movable too. So I was like, I can do it as much or as little as I want. Like, sounds like could be fun. So it wasn't, the program I did was like, the theory part was online, and then the like practice hours and case studies and all of that was like hands-on. So it was actually fairly easy because the theory part was like, beginning of it was like, okay, so like this is where the withers are, this is where the back is.
Yeah.
I was like,
stuff that you knew.
I was like, okay. So if you don't know where the withers are, I don't know. This is for you.
Right.
I was like, I think you should like kind of know horses already. So because I already knew, my mom's also a vet.
Oh, okay.
And small animal, but like
nonetheless.
Vet.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew, like, because I got into all the things, like things that I won't necessarily use when I'm massaging horses, but just like certain diseases, dysfunction, joints, like stuff like that, which when it comes to joints and bones, that's more chiro, vet. Like, yes, I can feel if something's not moving correctly, and then I can refer out. So it was like things like that I had to learn about that was great, but I already had some like base knowledge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's how I got into it, and it's been wonderful.
That's
I love
amazing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I mean, like I said, I know we've talked a lot about body work. We had Amanda Cernelia, who's a vet around here, who's amazing, and she does acupuncture. And it sounds like you kind of had the same, like what do they say? It's like one of my like character flaws is thinking that I can do anything that I like
see online
or something. Well, I decided, I was like, I'm going to learn acupuncture.
She's a DIY girl.
I've never tried that.
There's schools for that. I want to do it too.
Yeah. I think you have to be like an actual vet though.
Really? I thought there was like acupuncture therapists. Maybe that's just people.
I think you, in order to like put the needles in, like you have to be like a vet.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, well, or I think I also found that out, but then it was like thousands of dollars to become certified. I was like, well, this seems like a lot for like a, you
just want to do it.
There was a point in time where we were going to do shockwave too, because I'm a medical professional, but obviously not animals, but I have experience with horses. So I was like, I could figure this out. Like we could buy a machine and like create a shockwave, like this whole thing where I'll go shockwave horses at horse shows. And
we were really in deep with that.
Yeah. There's a lot of USEF rules as far as like when you can shockwave for like pre-treatment, not necessarily like for disease, but for like therapies to get them like comfortable and ready and kind of, competition ready. But there's a lot of rules. It's very expensive. And
and we couldn't get past the anesthesia issue.
Yeah, like the sedating them. I don't want to die.
The sedating them, we couldn't get past it. So because we can't administer sedation. Yeah. So
yeah, that makes sense. I would love to add Beamer to my supportive therapies.
Yeah,
there's a lot of supportive therapies. Like that's great, and people know about that. I just need a Beamer first.
Yeah. They're so expensive.
They're so expensive. Please sponsor me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sponsor us.
I know.
I would love to add that just so it's something that's more accessible for people to have. And like red light therapy. People also do cupping. Cupping's a supportive therapy. So I would love to add that. There's still things I would love to do, like to expand it.
Absolutely.
When I have more time. But
and I think that's great. I think that's always, as a business owner, like I think it's really great to have multiple things that under your belt that you're good at that you can always kind of bounce off
for sure. So and I want to make it virtually accessible, which is a new thing. Like yes, through TikTok, but also through like Zoom classes and like things like that, where I can just reach, because I do have people on TikTok that are like, because I just launched my massage clinic for stretching, and people that are like, oh, I would love to be part of this. Like, how can you go live? Can you do stuff like that? And I'm like, well, I can, but I could also like create a Zoom class for you, so I can be like super focused and explaining everything directly towards you, instead of like me talking to other people. Then you're just kind of off in a corner. Yeah, and I feel like you're not gonna get the whole
experience.
You're not gonna get as much out of it. So we're working on it, but things like that.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
One step at a time. So as we kind of talked about in the beginning, and we kind of talked off camera about social media in general, and just, and it's great because like I've gotten Alexis into social media. She's been doing better.
I mean, she's trying. She's like, you have to post every day. And I'm like,
multiple times a day.
I can't I don't know why, but like where I get stuck is like, I tried to make one this morning. I'm like driving the babies in the car. I'm like, well, I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm like, then I have to edit it. And then that's where I'm like,
we lose her at the edit.
Yeah, for sure. My mom tried that, and like my mom does also so many things. She's so smart, and like she was posting like these educational videos. She's like, okay, I'm gonna try. Cause my brother also posts on social media. He does like tree houses and all these like huge crazy things. He's got like I think 300,000 across all platforms. Like he's bigger than me. Yeah. But he, my mom's like, okay, I'm gonna start posting. I was like, okay, great. Like this is what you need to do. She posted like once a day for a week, and like her videos were actually doing well for like just starting to post. Like they were reaching like 1,000 views, and the engagement was good. And then after a week, she was like, I guess it's not working. I'm just gonna give up.
Yeah,
oh my God, that was her. Like, you didn't even try. Like,
that's me. I'm like, this one only got 980 views, and my other one's got 1,000. So I'm out. Like, it's not working. And Kelly's like, oh my God, like keep going. And I'm like, oh.
I know.
You have to work at it.
Yeah. I need to know. So you post multiple times a day.
I do.
So how do you like? What's for all our aspiring famous wannabes out there?
Yeah.
How do you just like take a whole day and video all day and then take a whole day to edit, or you do like, how does this work?
Okay,
please tell someone.
It's a serious commitment.
It is,
obviously.
From 0 to 10,000 followers, I was posting 6 times a day. Every video was a minute. Yeah. And like all the
six times a day
from 0 to 10,000. I don't even remember what I was posting. It was more every day.
For like
until I reached 10,000. So I don't know. I don't know, maybe a couple months.
That's a lot.
But then like when I was in Florida, I was so busy with non-social media related things. So it's like I would be working all day, and I would get back at 5.
This past time or the time before?
So when I was in Florida 2025,
okay.
I wasn't doing social media the year before.
Okay.
So this like past winter, most recent winter,
yeah,
I would work all day. I'd get back around like 5, then I'd have to ride. So I'd film, like I always film my rides, tack up. Sometimes I film untacking. That was like the thing in the beginning that got the most traction, was like tacking at my giant 4-year-old or whatever.
Yeah.
That was the thing that gained the most traction. So I just filmed tack up, untack, like grooming. That was really the only thing I filmed in the beginning. And then I continued doing that in Florida. But when I was in Florida, I couldn't post as much because I was so busy doing other things throughout the day. So I would post maybe 3 times a day, and I would try to make each video a minute. And then I also would try to post like 10 to 15 second videos in between the 1 minute videos, like maybe 1 to 2 a day. Like I have a daily schedule of things I like to get out every day. It's also like now that I have a bigger following, people like to keep up, like know what I'm doing. What are my rides looking like? I get a lot of requests for riding videos, and I need to post more of them, but I ride by myself. Like
it's hard to video
99% of the time. So I just don't, I'm like, I would love to, but like I'm by myself a lot. But when I post the riding videos, I do really well. Like people love them. So, you know, people just like to know what I'm doing, how Titan's doing, what he's up to, like what are we working on that day? Like what's the split that week? So now I just like post throughout my day. So usually like sometimes I'll post, edit, or film, edit, and then post like at the same time. Like it'll be like a real time post. But majority of the time I post the next day. So like I film
the day
and then
before.
I edit, and then I post those things the following day. So it's usually everybody sees things a day delayed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's usually what's easiest. That way it's just like I have things that are ready to go, edited and ready to go, and I can stay like on my posting schedule throughout the day. So right now I'm posting a good bit, like maybe 4 to 6 times a day, and most videos are a minute long.
What's your schedule?
I post at 8 a.m. I post at like 10:30. I post at 12. And then I post like the afternoon isn't as scheduled. Like I usually am done posting by like 3 or 4. And then occasionally, like last night I posted at 9 o'clock because Titan escaped, and I was like, look at this dude, like he destroyed the gate. I was like, you know what, you gotta pay for a new latch.
Right.
But people love the shenanigans. They love like, cause he's a lot, and he like gets into some trouble. So I have a whole playlist that's like Titan shenanigans, because he gets into so many.
That's so cute.
Oh my God. I love that. I think you could make that for Ivan too.
I know, he's a mess. But it's just like, okay, how do you video yourself? Do you have like a stand?
I have a tripod.
Or are you just like, okay, because I'm still on the.
I have a tripod. I found that videos where I'm holding the camera, they don't do as well. Yeah. I don't know if people like get like dizzy because I'm like moving it around too much. Honestly, and I talk with my hands so much, so I'll be like doing this, and then my phone's like
yeah. And I think, you know, I have such a different perspective because I do this for a living. Like I do this for other people. So I think that, and I do it for not most of the time individuals, mostly it's brands. Yeah. And I think it's so interesting because, you know, a lot of the time brands, and whether they're trying to do like a personal brand strategy or you know, they're trying to be a little bit more relatable, they're still terrified. Like most of the time brands are very, very afraid to get too candid and to and even if it's shot like really well, you know, like they're for example, like we shot for like a major feed brand, and we went a little bit more on the humorous side, like a little bit more comical, more candid, and I mean, it's not that they hated it, they personally liked it, but they were like, we don't want like the brand to be represented that way and whatever. And so it's just really interesting that they're very and especially in today's world, they're very buttoned up when it comes to like what they're showing and what they're not showing, because they are afraid. They're genuinely afraid.
Yeah, of like the response. I feel like that's like videos like that are like, you see that these advertisements on TV, and they're like more humorous and they're funny, and you're like, it actually makes you like sit there and watch it. You're like, oh, this is kind of entertaining.
Yeah, right now we are in like this big shift. Like I've talked a lot about this. I've just started posting about equestrian marketing.
I saw that.
Yeah. And because, you know, I have been creating content, learning this audience for the past 2 years. And every, like, to be honest, like that, my equestrian feed was really just a massive test to test all of these theories that I had for other clients so that I could test these things out and be like, okay, what are people going to like? What are people going to enjoy? What are people going to be like, nah, not into it.
Okay.
So, you know, I never took anything like super seriously on that feed because I was like, this is really just a massive test for me to push back into my business and into my clients. So, but I learned so much from that process. And it's just crazy that, you know, I talked a lot about like equestrian apparel brands. Like they just post the same thing.
Like the same outfit.
Like, genuinely slow-mo,
walking.
Girl on a horse, girl walking with a horse, smiling, like eating. And I said in the video, I was like, you genuinely have to look to see like what
clothes.
What brand it even is. Because they all look the same.
My more freestyle, which pretty much all I post is just like me talking and like chatting about my day or what I'm doing. Or like if I sit there, I'm like, this is what shirt I'm wearing. Like those do so much better.
So much better.
Than,
just
like,
wearing it.
If I put music over a video, it doesn't do nearly as well.
Yeah.
It's like even the sounds, people like the sounds.
Well,
like,
right. Well, because people get connected to your story.
Yeah.
Like people are invested in you.
Yeah.
They're invested in Titan. They're invested in your other horses. And like, that's what starts to happen. And that's like, it's just psychology, right? Like, you know, that's why you fall in love with like I'm obsessed with The Office.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because I love the characters.
Yeah.
Like I love the characters. I feel like I know them.
Yeah.
Like if I met Steve Carell in real life, I think I would like cry. But you know, it's like that. Those are the things that I think in terms of market, like, you know, social media and marketing today is like what people are really not understanding and why the influencers have done so well. But there's a massive downside, right? Like there's a big downside to that. And I think sharing your life on the internet and putting yourself out there is always comes with inherent risk.
Yeah.
But it also comes with possibilities that are endless.
Yes.
And I think that's really like something that people don't really understand is like what it can do for people. And I think that no matter what, like if you're going to make the conscious decision to put yourself out there and make content, whatever, people are going to say shit about it. Like 100%. They just are. And so, you know, I think that as a creator, you know, you have an opportunity, like Michaela Nagira is a perfect example. She is, you know, she was a nobody.
Yeah.
Like, and she has built this incredible brand. And there have been so many times that, you know, she has had a lot of hate and she just completely ignores it.
Yeah.
Doesn't feed into it, doesn't say anything. And now whether that's the right or wrong decision, like, I mean, you could sit there and fight with these trolls. You could not, like anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, I think you have to protect your peace. And I think for you, you know, I think that's definitely, you know, it's one thing when it's you and then like we talked off camera, then you start putting an animal into it and people start getting really just like to the next level.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I just want to ask, like, how have you dealt with that?
Yeah. It's definitely, thankfully, it's been for the most part positive.
Yeah.
Like, but as you grow, that's inevitable.
Yeah.
There's going to be haters. There's going to be people behind a phone that just like going at you just cause why not?
100%.
Like, maybe they have nothing better to do. I don't really know. You're only racking up my views when you do that. So it's like,
bring it on.
Keep going. But a lot of the times I do find like the comments that are like, they ask a question, they're like, I don't mean any hate. Like, just like I'm not a horse person. Like, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm happy to answer, or someone will beat me to it and answer the question. Like, no hate. Like, totally understand. But there's a lot of non-horse people or just horse people that know nothing about horses, and they'll just attack you because they just don't understand something. Like, a year ago when I started posting Titan, he was freshly 4, 18 hands. He was the gangliest, like skinny. His legs were a mile long. Like, he's all over the place. Like, he's ribby. He's just like can't keep any weight on because he's going through these massive growth spurts. He was the equivalent to like a 16-year-old, 6'5", like boy.
Yeah, awkward, gangly.
You're not keeping weight on. And so everybody was like, and he was eating so much, and people were like, you don't feed him. So I post a video of me feeding him. you feed him too much. You can't feed a horse that much in one sitting.
Yeah.
Like, so there's like no winning, I guess.
I think when you accept that, there's just no winning.
No.
Like, so you just do you.
You just keep going. And then I just posted a video a couple weeks ago, and now he's 5 this year. So he's starting to fill out. He's going through another growth spurt, which I'm like, dude, chill out.
Done.
Yeah.
I know you're like still young, but I kind of thought you were done because you're huge already.
Yeah.
So he's kind of a little bit gangly, but still filling out. Like he's got some like fat over his ribs. You can feel, but he needs muscle.
Yeah.
He's huge. It's gonna take him a long time.
Yeah.
Especially as he's going through these growth spurts to put muscle on his top line, his hind end, all of that. But I posted a video. I think it was last week. I was just grooming him. I didn't even say anything. I was just grooming him. His coat looks great. He's super shiny. It did like 4 million views.
What?
Yeah, like really quick, 4 million views. And people are like, oh my gosh, he looks amazing. Like, that's the most gorgeous horse I've ever seen. Like, wow, that's the healthiest horse I've ever seen. I'm like, I told you guys this a year ago. I told you he was going to fill out, but you didn't want to believe me.
Yeah, it just takes time. We know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, and there's people debating, like, you know, oh, he's not taken care of. Oh, he's just young. You know, people like debate in the comments, and it's just like, all right.
People will definitely get after it in the comments, and you're just like,
I have a question about that. So for engagement purposes, are you reading like all your comments and then responding? Like Kelly's always like, you got to respond to people's comments. You got to like engage. And I'm like,
it is. I try to respond to like comments that I see, and I like, people are asking questions or whatever, like I do respond to them when I can, but sometimes there's thousands of comments and I can't respond to everybody. But if there's like one comment that is super popular and like has thousands of likes or whatever, I'll video respond to it if I want to. Again, my account, people are like, why didn't you respond to my comment? I'm like, because I don't have to.
Right?
Like,
there's so many.
Because it's my account and I can do whatever I want. Like I don't have to do what you tell me to do.
Right.
Might be a crazy topic, but
yeah, I mean, you know, and I think too, when I say engagement, like, you know, when you have under 10,000 or really a small audience, you know, you build, I mean, I'm respectfully.
Just pointing your fingers.
I mean, I have like almost 11,000. So mine's relatively small as well. So, but you try to, you know, answer as many comments as possible just to kind of, if you're trying to grow your account, that's really just like the best thing. But
so it's a beginning.
Yeah. But when you have like thousands of comments and people are just like, you know, having arguments and like, you just like watch them from afar, you know, but you know, it's fine. But I think, you know, in the horse world in general, it's so easy to pass judgment and to ridicule and to, you know, I think about other sports like soccer, baseball, or
not like that.
And maybe that's why people go after their personal lives so much, because that's really all they have, you know? But man, it's when you start bringing animals into it, I think that, and we talked about this before too, but I don't think people, especially if you're not a horse person, or even if you do horses like on a very, you know, hobby level, you're not taking care of them, you know, whatever. You know, I think that people just don't understand how catastrophic things can go from 0 to 100 in terms of how large these animals are and how quickly something really terrible can happen.
Yes.
And I definitely want to talk about this because it's something that I have dealt with personally and something that I feel really strongly about. And, you know, Alexis and I had Kevin Hunter on, who's a great friend of ours and a great horseman and has taught us so much. And I think that, you know, his foundation is a lot of protecting yourself, like, you know, around these animals, you know, because he's been doing this for so long. He's like, I've seen things that, you know, you don't want to see, you know, and why I implement this. Like, yes, you get a broke horse. Yes, you get a nice horse, like all of those things, but you also get a safe horse, and a safe horse is a good horse. Yeah. And, you know, and those things have to be taught, you know, those things have to be taught. And sometimes when you're dealing with young horses, it's just like dealing with like a toddler. It's just like a toddler. Yeah. And I think people that are, like I said, do this as a hobby or do this as somebody that doesn't, I don't even know the right word to explain it, but like if you're not interacting with these animals on a day-to-day basis and understand the inherent risks that you put just being in, not even just sitting on their back, but being around them.
It's super dangerous.
It's super dangerous. And I just feel like, you know, the internet, obviously it breeds trolls, but I think that is something that needs to be talked about more, and understood more, because there's within a split second, something
you're dead. I mean, like you're dead.
Yeah. And you can, I think the thing that happens with horse owners, we're all guilty of this. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it. We're all guilty of it. Well, my horse would never do that to me.
Not intentionally, maybe.
No.
Maybe not intentionally.
Yeah. But,
you know, but if they, like Sunny, my red thoroughbred, can be a bit spicy. And, you know, if he hasn't been out because it's been raining, or if he, you know, got injured or whatever, and I turn him out and he bolts and full eyes into the air and kicks me in the face, like you don't even have time to react. Like it happens so fast. Yeah. And, you know, I think it just,
they're giant flight animals, like fight or flight. Like they will do whatever they can to get away, even if it's like the most minuscule thing, you know, like they see a plastic bag and they lose their minds and they jump all over you. Or, you know, at my farm, we were shooting a commercial and there was a cow in the commercial, and like one of our horses kicked one of their owners just because he was trying to like get away from said cow, because I guess horses can be afraid of cows. So like you never know what they're gonna do and react, and like this is a lifelong animal for this girl, and like he got scared and he reacted, and you know, you like they're dangerous. And my husband, who's knows horses but doesn't like, not like us, he like still will come to the farm and be like, he'll walk like a mile around their butt. And I'm like, he's not going to do that. And then I'm like, he's like, you don't know he's an animal. And even I forget that like, this is a monster, you know, like if he is afraid, he becomes something that he is not what you're used to, you know?
Yeah. To add to that, there is absolutely that fight or flight instinct. But at the same time, especially working with a lot of young horses, there's also a pecking order. Like in herds,
that's true.
There's alpha, and then there's the ones that are extreme pushovers, like bottom of the pecking order. And I've dealt with ones that are a lot more alpha, and like especially when they're young, they test the boundaries. They're like, "Can I push past you? Like, can I spin around and point my butt at you when you walk into my stall? Because I don't want to go out right now." Like, as much as people think horses like don't process like that, like they actually process so much more than we think. I was reading an article about this. Like horses have like they have a left brain and a right brain, just like people. Like they can process mistakes. That's why you can teach them so much, because they know when something's right or wrong. Like they know. And like dogs, like I don't think dogs have a left and right side. Like I'm not an expert on this by any means, but dogs don't understand mistakes. But horses absolutely do. So there's a whole like pecking order. Like with Titan, for example, he has a lot of personality, and like he's very friendly, like he always wants to be touching you. Like he's hilarious. He's just like super sweet, but at the same time, he is like extreme alpha, like top of the pecking order, no matter what horse he's around. And like partially probably because of his size, but also that's just his personality. He is alpha. So it's like when I got him, he was almost 2. He'd rip out of my hands all the time. Like he would plant his feet. Granted, he was freshly 2, but he'd plant his feet and he'd go, "I'm not going." And I'd be like, "Yes, you are." And he'd be like, "No." And he would rip out of my hands and take off like so many times. So then obviously we had to work through that. He has still done it. And there are videos of it on my TikTok. He did it at WEC.
I saw that.
Ripped out of my hands. He was like, because he learned, he's like, "Oh, I can, like, I'm bigger.
I can get free.
I can get away with this." It's just like, okay, how do I tell an 18 one-hand 5-year-old that that's not okay?
Yeah.
It's like, I can't just be like, "It's okay. Like, please don't do that.
Please."
Like, if you don't mind not doing, he'll be like, "Screw you."
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Like me compared to him, there's a huge size difference.
Yeah.
But like he knows better. Yeah. For certain things.
Oh yeah.
Like, he absolutely knows better.
Well, again, just going back to the same thing about a child, you know, like a child knows better. And sometimes you see them, with my nephew, he'll be like banging on the glass and I'll be like, "Don't do that." And then he'll look at me. Start banging on the glass.
They test you. They will absolutely test you.
Bro.
So like, yes, and people ask me too, and I'm stretching the horses and stuff, like, "Aren't you scared standing behind them?" And it's like, I always say to people, you always have to be careful. If you know your horse has a tendency to kick, whatever, because some horses do, for whatever reason, I wouldn't do this. It's just not for you. Like from a safety perspective, it's not for you.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, there's typically a reason or like signs that they're thinking about kicking. So it's like, you just have to watch out for those things and you have to be careful. You have to be extremely careful. And I know like you see those videos of people are like, what we tell non-horse people not to do around a horse
and
versus
what we do.
And we're like crawling all around the horses and it comes to bite us.
Oh, absolutely.
All the time.
100%.
Like
100%.
We screw ourselves over. Doing
oh my
that.
God, I know. And it's just like, I mean, and it's funny because my baby horse, maybe because he's a baby, he got injured recently.
Oh.
And so he had another horse stepped on his back right heel bulb. So it was his back leg and I was trying to like look at it. And that's like a super sensitive spot. Like it was right at the coronary band. Like it had ripped open. It was bad.
It was raw. It would look terrible.
It was really bad. And I'm telling you, I haven't been so close to being kicked in the head in so long, but like it was like, when something flies past your head and you're like, like it was so fast.
You're like,
I mean,
and like, did not just happen.
And I said, okay, I'm going to give you that one. You do it again. I understand you're hurting. I get it. But like, that is a no-no. And like Sonny, my older thoroughbred, he could be like, his leg could be falling off and he would
do it.
Never even attempt something like that.
Yeah.
And so it is interesting, and it could be just an age thing that he just doesn't know or whatever. But like, I mean, that could have gone. I mean, even if he would have caught like the edge of my
you
chin,
break your jaw.
I mean, so easy with one movement, and I wasn't even like, it was just normal Friday. It was actually his birthday. He was turning 6, and it was just like a beautiful day. All of a sudden, that I could have been in the hospital in a split second.
Absolutely. Well, my horse Moon, my thoroughbred, I've leased him out off and on over the last few years, and he was on a lease in South Florida in this amazing barn, wonderful program, like really amazing. But when they're handled a lot by kids, sometimes some bad manners, bad habits can creep up.
Yeah.
And so he came back and like I was just in the wash rack and he would like, I'd be standing like on his left side and then he'd be like, yeah, I'm going to move to the left now and like pin me against the wall. And I'm like, and it's a very like innocent like I'm going to move over here. I'm like, I know you're like old and like like sweet and like you're a kid's horse, but like you can't do that.
Right.
Like you're pinning me against the wall.
Right.
Like I have nowhere to go. You can't move towards me when I'm standing right here.
Right.
Like just can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's just like little things like that. Even if they are older, it's like sometimes you have to just keep reminding them like, hey, so I just like poke aside. I'm like, no, don't do that.
Right.
Like just go back that way.
Yeah.
And then he does. But
yeah. Right. And I think that's the thing is like just correcting them the right way.
Yeah.
And that's something that Kevin had taught us, especially with having Ivan, who was a 2-year-old when I got him, is like when you move towards them, they move away from you.
Yeah.
You need to yield to the pressure.
Right. So like and now he's so good. Like if I step towards his hind end, he moves away from me, moves away from me in either direction. And then that's how it should be because he should know he should never use his body to intimidate me. Right. I am not his pasture mate.
It can escalate, right? Like then they start, spinning around in the stall. And like I've had young horses like I go in the stall to get them out. They're like, no, spin around and double barrel kick out at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely freaking not. You're not going to do that. And then if you just walk out of their stall, guess what? They win.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. So I don't have to do that.
Right.
It's like sometimes you have to be a lot more stern, especially when they're young and alpha or super bossy or whatever it is. Like Titan can be like, I'll be like, hey, don't do that. And he'll be like, oh yeah? Like literally try to size me up. And he's like, I got to go like this to see his face.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like that's not okay. You have to respect me.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Or I'm dead.
Yeah. And it can happen. Like Ivan, I was trying to get him out of the pasture and like, I think I was trying to get another horse in and he ran me out.
Yeah.
And he's huge. He's 17 hands.
Yeah.
Was 3 years old and was like, I want out.
Yep.
And just like, I was like on the ground and I was like, holy shit, he could have just trampled me. He didn't. Thankfully, he missed me, but he still ran me over.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I love him. He's a puppy dog. He's the same way, but he is like kind of alpha, and he's like,
they'll push the boundaries like all the time, even if it's like very slight sometimes, or they go through a period of being really amazing. Like they still get a little testy here and there,
and it's subtle in subtle ways. Yeah. Like this morning. I mean, we're just telling stories here. This is like story time. Yeah. But like this morning, Sweet Sunny, who I was just praising, I went to go get them, and I was like, all right, like I gotta go. I'm shooting this podcast, like, and so I swung the gate open, and they're walking towards me, and Sunny's like, I'm gonna try to go around you. And I was like, you have what? Like, you know you're not lost your mind. And so he tries to like,
oh no,
like juke me. And I was like, oh hell no, we're not doing this morning. Like absolutely not. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I just think that they always, no matter like, you know, because obviously they are individuals and they have their own shit going on, I guess. Like, I don't know. Do they like...
They have feels. They get in their feels sometimes.
Like, I'm bored. Let's see what I can get away with.
Let's see what, you know, what's going on. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just at the end of the day, they're just big, massive animals that are unpredictable.
Yes.
So, you know.
People are going to hate if you put that on, you know, like...
You're going to find something to hate about.
No, but like, let's be real. It happens in real life too. Like if I'm doing something, if I'm like, oh, like, and this is a theme for me and Kelly is like, I don't give my horse treats because I have one, love him. He has went from barn, you know, he's a show horse and he's gotten treats like his entire life. Well, he is very pushy. So I was like, I'm not going to let my young one have treats. And I'm still like, Kelly, I'm judging you. You give Ollie too many treats. And then every time he tries to like nuzzle her, or, like get treats from her, I'm like, see, I told you. So it's like, it's not just the internet. Like everybody has their ways of doing things. And, you know, everybody has a say about how they would do it versus how somebody else is doing it. Or at a show, you're like, oh, like, look at that girl. Like she tapped her horse before you went in the ring, and like everybody has an opinion and not all of them are right, and that's okay.
I taught Titan how to say please. He has to say please.
That's amazing.
And to say please, he has to turn his head away from me. He has to get out of my space.
Yeah.
If he wants a treat. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He either has to do that.
I need to learn that.
Or it's really easy to teach him. Or he gets treats when he does neck stretches. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. But like I'll walk into the bar and he'll be in a stall, poke his head out, and he goes like this. And then he pokes his head back out. And I'm like, he begs in a very polite way.
Yeah. That's nice.
And so I'll be like, okay, fine. Like, I'll give you a treat. You are begging, but you are being polite about it. So I'll give you a treat. But he has to get away from me if he wants one. Right. He can't come all up in my space.
Right.
Yeah. That's the way to, that's the move.
That's the move.
Then it takes our like little treat, no treat argument out.
I know.
Of the way.
I have another young horse. He's 7 now. Or 8 almost, but I started him at 3 and he was great. Like would literally do anything for a peppermint. And he only got one at the end of this ride, but then you'd give him a peppermint, you walk him back to his pasture, and he'd get all like start like jogging next to you, and then I'd be like, no. God. And the one time he got all up in my space, and he was kind of like he has some attitude, but he's really sweet. Yeah. But like he can be a little bossy. Yeah. And I was like, get out of my space, and he fully like pinned his ears and reared up, and I was like, no. You're cut off
for a treat. Yeah.
You're cut off.
It's like, and it's so funny sometimes, like with horse people, like when shit like that happens and you're just like, there have been times where like I'm walking my horses out and they'll like spook, jump up and like run to the side. They never like get to the end of the lead.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why should keep walking? And I'm just like, you guys are weird. Yeah. Like you guys are idiots. Like just, so you're kind of just like, get a little desensitized because you're just like you're just like whatever. Like, let's just keep going. you know. Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
What's the best way that people can get information about your massage and body work?
Yeah. I would say probably on my Instagram. I post a lot on my TikTok about it too, but I also post other things on my TikTok. But I would say my Instagram and then Facebook too. But like I feel like young people don't really go on Facebook. Like it's really good for marketing stuff, but like in like a certain way. Yeah. But I'd say my Instagram is probably the best way.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So, I'm gonna get some massage.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, friends, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Adult Amateurs Guidebook podcast. We hope you enjoyed the discussion as always, and be sure to like and subscribe for more real and authentic conversations about the struggles and triumphs of balancing life and horses. Until next time, cheers to adulting and happy riding, friends.